welcome to episode 12 of Reputation Rescue at Lazio with me, the United City FM. We have reached the end of the first season. It's been a little bit challenging, the second half of the season. If we go into our fixture list, you can see that in the beginning we did really well. Right the way through to December, we were playing magnificent football, got a lot of wins, not many losses, and then after the turn of the new year, January was pretty decent, and then February came along and form absolutely plummeted through the floor. We had loads of losses in February, we had a reasonable resurgence in March, but April was dreadful. Look at that run of form in April. And all that meant that our league position dropped from sitting in second place by like the turn of the year, and we're not sitting in second place anymore, I can assure you. Recent form has been better. We've had 3 decent games to play against Verona, Sassuolo and Cagliari, and we've won all 3 of our most recent games, which is a better upturn of form just leading to the end of the season. But today we get quite a challenging one to finish the season off with against Atalanta. It's challenging because if we go and have a look at the actual league table itself, you can see that our form has meant that we've dropped to 7th place on 65 points, and today we play at Atalanta, who are sitting in 3rd place, but they're only on 67 points. You can see it's ridiculously tight. Anywhere between 2nd place and 7th place, there's only 5 points separating all of those 6 clubs. So today, with all sorts of different results happening, anything could happen in terms of we could happily finish in 7th place now, and it wouldn't be happy at all really, but it would be the minimum that we can do. We can't drop any further. But in theory, we could finish right up in 3rd place if all of the other results go our way, and find ourselves into European football for next season, which would be a huge bonus in terms of attracting players for next season. So we've got to go and do the job as much as we can against Atalanta, and see if we can get a victory there, which hopefully puts us in the running for at least one of these Europa League, Champions League type spots. But look how ridiculously tight it is. 5 points between the top sort of 6 clubs behind Zebra, who are Juventus in this particular save, and they've just absolutely run away with the league. And you can remember we've given ourselves 3 seasons to see if we can topple Juventus at the top of Serie A, and it proves how hard it's going to be. At the end of the first half of the season, I thought we're on to a winner here. This Lazio side are really good, and they are. There's some very good players there, but the balance in the squad isn't quite right. I think we can address that and bring some better players in terms of rotating players through a season. So that's something to work on in the summer. There'll be lots of movement in the summer, I would imagine, and the opportunity to really get to grips with this Lazio team. So that's to come, though, after today's episode. Today, we're at home, which is decent, I think, is a good opportunity to play at home on the last day against a 3rd place Atalanta side. We've got lots of opportunities for different positions that we can finish in because it's all so tight. So let's go and check out the team news for today. And the team news is positive, to be honest. There's a couple of little knocks around the place. You can see that Andre Anderson is a little bit... has got a bit of a knock, but his conditioning and match sharpness are still pretty decent to be able to be on the bench. Lazzari is also a little bit jaded, having had a bit of a time off on the injury list recently. So his match sharpness isn't the best, but his conditioning is decent enough to play. Other than that, everybody else is doing pretty well. So I think we've managed this squad pretty well to get them to this point. It's been tricky at times. We've had a lot of injury issues at times during the season. But on the last day, we've got pretty much everybody to pick from, which is positive. In terms of what we're going to do today, we've got lots of options. We can play the newly designed diamond and 2 up front attacking formation, but I don't want to do that straight away. I want to go in with a controlled possession at home and just see if we can find a way to dominate the ball in the first half specifically and frustrate Atalanta, and then in the second half, if we need to, then we can break out into that more attacking formation. But I don't want to do it too quickly. I've used this formation again recently in the run of good wins. When we played, let's go back to the schedule a little bit. When we played Verona, for some reason, I looked at the way they were setting up and thought that the diamond and 2 up top wasn't going to work for us, so I reverted back to the 3-5-2 or whatever, 3-5-1-1, whatever you want to call it, formation that we've been using primarily through this season. And it worked just about. I mean, you can see they got 2 goals, we scored 3. It was a high-scoring game, but it just put us on a decent footing for better performances. So I have gone back to this formation recently, and it seems to be working again. We just needed a break from it, I think, and just to reinvigorate the squad slightly. But the option to go into the 4-4-2 diamond is perfectly there for later in the game if we should need it. But yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to be doing. And what that means in terms of personnel is that I'm just going to make one change here because that's the way I would normally set it up. And so we've now got Strakosha in goal, Vavro, Felipe and Acerbe in central defence, with Leva, Milinkovic, Savic and Alberto in central midfield, with Lazari on the right, Lulic on the left and Courier just behind Immobile up top. And pretty much, as is with the case with Serie A, everybody else on the bench other than Sabrino, who misses out today. So that's the way the team's set up. Really important game. Can we get into a European spot and potentially attract better players in the summer? That's the real drama for today. Let's see if we can do it. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So we've just asked the team to pick up from where they left off in the last game. The last couple of games have been really positive, as you've seen in terms of results. So hopefully we can gain momentum from that and bring it into this game. And confidence should be reasonably high. But we're up against a very good side who are, interestingly, also playing 3 at the back. We haven't come up against that too much this season. So it'll be interesting to see how their variant on it works. They're playing 2 up top, though. So their central midfield is a little bit different to ours in terms of what they're doing there. But it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top here. But it's Atalanta down the right-hand side who get the first chance for a highlight. Cross comes in to the top of the penalty box. And they work it nicely and they hit the crossbar with a cracking shot from that left-hand side of the top of the penalty box. And there's a real warning shot for us. You can see that we're in the game in terms of possession stats are decent. And we've had a couple of attempts at goal, but nothing that warranted a highlight. And again, it's Atalanta with the highlight just at the end of the first half, which has been quiet. And what happened there? Did they get a header in from the 6-yard box? And if they did, is it offside? Yeah, it's offside. I thought it looked a bit odd. So you can see that a decent shot comes in from the edge of the box, but it's impacted by another attacking player on the header, and he was in an offside position. So we get away with one a bit there. Through to half-time, a quick half again in this setup. We can really tell them that we're a bit disappointed by that because although we're in the game, we didn't do anything of note, did we? There was no opportunities for us really to demonstrate our superiority in that first half being at home. And although Atalanta are sitting a couple of points clear of us in the table, we should be competing at least and properly demonstrating that at home we should be able to do something. So we're going to, I think we're going to assertively say I'm far from pleased and then try and build up the side a little bit. They look fired up. I want them motivated if possible. So I have faith in you. We're going to use passionately for all 3 of the setups. Passionately, I have faith in you. It's just fired them up. It's not quite as good as being motivated, I'm not sure. But hopefully it will increase their work rate in the second half at least and make them want to challenge for the ball a bit more and win it in a better position to be able to at least counter-attack on a very attacking Atalanta side. They're doing an awful lot of the attacking that we've seen in this particular highlight form anyway. We lose the ball there, we gain it in defensive area pretty comfortably, but then we boot it up the field and Atalanta come back at us and have a bit of a wild shot at goal in the end. But you can see that their stats are moving forward and ours are being a little bit static. So we are very soon going to have to do something about it unless, we hit the crossbar. A good free kick came in from Alberto onto the head of Milinkovic Savic, running into the box, and we hit the crossbar, having the goalkeeper tip it onto the crossbar. So a corner kick for us comes in, and it's a little bit disappointing. There was nobody really attacking that ball, and it drifts away harmlessly, and we miss an opportunity there. And soon it's now time to do something about the fact that we're not quite where we want to be. So we're going to come in and we are going to make the change that we talked about before the game, and we're going to make it so we're playing our 4-4-2 in the diamond formation and going a little bit more attacking on it. So Felipe will come out, I think. Let's just check the other. Yes, Felipe comes out. And we're going to bring Casido in. And then we just got to think about a couple of other changes here. Who's playing well, who's not. You can see that Courier's not doing too well today. So Anderson, even though he's slightly injured, will come in for the last sort of half hour of the game if we get a few minutes of added time on as well. So he comes in. And then we're going to take one of our wide men off, I think. And I think we're going to take Lulic off and bring on Lukaku. Lukaku. Just to he plays that left fullback role slightly better than Lulic does, who's more of a wing back. So those are the changes we're going to make. We've got the new setup going, and then we're going to come straight back out and as soon as we can go in there and say demand more in terms of one of the team shouts, and just see if we can unlock this Atalanta side, who are being a bit stubborn, it must be said. They're obviously suppressing us quite a lot because there's no highlights to talk of at all in such an important game. It's Atalanta with a highlight. We're at 83 minutes now. The game has gone by and we haven't really done much. It's been very disappointing. Atalanta through on goal again, and this time they're again offside. The linesman raises his flag, and we've escaped another decent opportunity for Atalanta where they don't get it right. A good opportunity to pass the ball in, but the striker had made his run too quickly and the defence had held their line, and we get away with another one there. And can we nick something towards the end of the game? We've got a couple of minutes of injury time left. It doesn't look like it. What an absolutely damp game, really. A 0-0. We had enough shots. Both teams had enough shots. And the possession was fairly equal, 52% to 48%. But there was nothing to write home about, really. Nothing to talk about. No highlights for us at all, really, other than that Milinkovic-Savic header. So I think all I'm going to do is just leave the team talk blank. I'm not overly happy, but it's not a bad result against a top three side as the time that we get in to the game. And look at that. That point that we gained has just crept us into the Europa League for next season. So that's a really good result. That could have gone so much worse than it did. And look, the likes of AC Milan and Fiorentina miss out on those European spots. Atalanta, Roma, Inter and Zebra take those 4 Champions League spots, and we sneak into that Europa League. So I think that's pretty much as good as we could have hoped for, really, considering the run of form that had dropped us so far out of that top 4 that we held a position for so long in Serie A. But there we go. That'll do it for this particular season. You can see that we qualify for Europe, which is fantastic. There's some injury concerns, but that's okay because ultimately we're done now. We received 3 million for our league position, which isn't an awful lot, is it, in Italy? You'd imagine that we'd get a bit more than that, but there we go. We're going to have to work on a bit of a tight budget, possibly, although I'm not 100% sure that all of these players are going to be here next season. And I think we can make a bit of money if we make the right choices to who we get rid of. So come back and join me for the next episode where we'll talk through what I did in the transfer market through the summer transfer window. But I don't think you'll see all of these faces again next season. So check them out, take a good look, and we'll see what we can do over the summer to reinvigorate this side. There's some very good players here, but the balance isn't quite right through the squad, so it's something that we'll have to work on. But as I say, that'll do it for this season. A reasonably good 5th place in the end. I think that we could have finished in that top 4 with a little bit more luck in that second half of the season, but that's the way it works. So join me for the next episode and see how we get on in the transfer window. But until then, thanks for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and click that like button if you haven't. Also helps to get seen by lots of other people. Come and participate in my United City community. Chuck some stuff in the comments below about what you thought about this season, what you expect for next season, what you would change about the squad, what about setups in terms of playing styles and other bits. Chuck it all in the comments below and give me something to think about. But until next time though, thanks very much for joining me today. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.